earlier, I'm Shashidhar here, and I'm part of Citrix Ready technical team. And I hope everybody is doing good and keeping safe now. And I would like to welcome you all to this Citrix Ready technical webinar series, where we showcase how Citrix and our partners have integrated to deliver valuable products and solutions to the common problems faced by our customers today. And I really appreciate your participation here. And today, we will talk about how Citrix and Flexxible IT solutions boost an NHS hospital's remote work IT infrastructure. And along with me, we have Alan Szymanski, Solutions Architect from Citrix, and Ian Platt, UK Sales Director from Flexxible IT, who will be walking us through this webinar. Thanks, Alan and Ian, for joining us today. So before we jump on to the core topics, I would like to let you know that this webinar is getting recorded, and this will be made available on Citrix Ready YouTube channel as well later, and it will be notified to you. And if you have any questions during this webinar, please post them in the questions panel in the GoToWebinar window, and we'll take them up in the end in the Q&A session. Next slide, please. Yes. So to talk about Citrix Ready program, Citrix Ready program is an end-to-end technology partner program, which showcases and recommends third-party products, solutions, and services to demonstrate the compatibility with Citrix products. Now, customers can easily navigate to Citrix Ready Marketplace and easily find the solutions recommended by Citrix in the Citrix Ready Marketplace. So any product vendor, when they want to get their product listed on the Citrix Ready Marketplace, they do undergo few rigorous test scenarios, and Citrix Ready technical team validates them. Then operations team onboards them into the Citrix Ready program, and the partner product is listed on Citrix Ready Marketplace. So to have the complete listing of the Citrix Ready verified products, you could navigate to Citrix Ready Marketplace at citrixready.citrix.com. So for furthermore information on the Citrix Ready program, you can navigate to citrix.com/partnerprograms/Citrix Ready. So without further delay, let me welcome Alan. Alan, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Shashidhar, for the intro, and a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you and talk about the joint solution with Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops and Flexxible IT. So to kick things off, many of you may be familiar with Citrix technologies. We've been around for 3 decades now, and I think it's especially important in the global climate that we have today, that when you're looking for a remote work partner, a trusted partner, you have one that is experienced, right? We are a trusted advisor to organizations all around the globe in virtually every industry. You can see over 400,000 organizations worldwide trust Citrix solutions to deliver their most business critical workloads, be it in finance, healthcare, insurance, or all the other verticals that you see here on the screen. And that's across a wide array of environment types and business requirements, organization size. So regardless what types of challenges you're looking to solve with IT, Citrix is able to provide a solution that meets you. Now, many people that know Citrix for remote app and desktop delivery. And that is a large part of what we do, and certainly the focus of the webinar here today. Although I do want to highlight the other key areas that Citrix offers as part of a complete digital workspace solution. So of course, apps and desktops. We also have SaaS and web applications, being able to provide access to these types of applications, as well as single sign-on type functionality and contextual access. A unified app catalog, bringing together all the apps and really everything that a user needs to be productive in one central location that can be customized by IT to suit the needs of the business. We have solutions around content collaboration, or known as ShareFile, This is the ability to really store documents, collaborate around documents with workflows and versioning, and full integration across a wide array of regular productivity applications. Unified endpoint management, bringing together various devices, not just mobile devices, but also other types of devices, physical PCs and laptops and such, and being able to really understand the usage patterns and control over these devices. And across this entire technology stack, there is a consistent fabric around security and networking, as well as visibility and analytics, making sense of all the rich data that is generated by this delivery infrastructure. And then lastly is a critical piece, which I'll be touching on in more detail, and that's providing that consistent user experience, regardless of device type or network that a user may be connecting over. But again, for today's discussion, we're going to be focusing on app and desktop delivery and this amazing story on how a healthcare organization was able to quickly ramp up capacity and meet the needs of their workforce and the broader community in light of the pandemic situation. So Citrix's virtual app and desktop architecture, our current architecture is one that's based off of, well, really 3 decades worth of innovation. More specifically though, we've had this architecture for the past decade where we have this notion of a delivery controller that's handling the brokering functionality and the policy engine, and really the main control over your site or your deployment. It will allow you to serve up a variety of applications and desktops coming from Windows, be it a server OS, Windows desktop OSs, as well as Linux. Linux is a large part of the delivery infrastructure as well, so Linux apps and desktops. And the best part of our architecture is it's one architecture, although we have various versions, which I'll touch on, it's one proven architecture that allows customers to easily scale and embrace cloud on their terms. Many of our customers do so in a hybrid capacity. And in addition, it's quick and simple upgrades. So I'll touch on this in greater detail, but really ensuring that administrators are able to meet the needs of the business and the features and functionality and performance that they need to keep the environment running well and users productive. When it comes to Citrix virtual apps and desktops, we have 3 main pillars that we like to focus on. And these 3 main pillars absolutely resonate here with the story we'll be touching on today with flexible IT solutions. The first is experience, and this relates to not just user experience, but also the admin experience as well, right? Ensuring that we're able to provide a complete, intuitive, engaging experience that really fuels productivity and meeting business objectives. Security as a complete thread throughout everything that is done, it needs to be contextual, and that holds true more now than ever so in the past, with literally all of our employees working remote at unknown, untrusted locations, often with untrusted devices. And so how can we ensure that we're providing the right level of contextual access and control, making sense of all the data, and ensuring that we're striking that best possible balance? And then last is choice. Citrix has always been a proponent of choice across how you configure your environment, how it's accessed, how it's managed and supported, and being able to do so with applications and platforms that meet the needs of our customers. So I'm going to start off by really highlighting what I think is the Citrix secret sauce, if you will, and that's around user experience. And when it comes to user experience for app and desktop technologies, this is all bundled together in what we call HDX technologies, providing a high definition user experience. And that's very much true for the customer that we're highlighting here today, the healthcare customer, being able to really provide that necessary experience for the clinicians to access the apps and data that they need to be productive and provide that right level of patient care. We're proud of the fact that we have the extensive partner ecosystem through the Citrix Ready program to embrace different software and hardware solutions to really further expand the capabilities within the native product. You can see here there's a variety of components that go into providing the best possible user experience, and that pertains to things like peripherals and graphics and voice, as well as unified communications, which we'll be taking a look at. And really the notion of being adaptive as network conditions change, as devices change and users roam from location to location. And speaking of devices, for virtual app and desktop, as well as part of the broader digital workspace story, it's one app. It's Citrix Workspace app. This is the app that you take advantage of on your native platform to access your apps, your desktops, your data, everything you need as a user to be productive. And it's available across all the major platforms and app stores. It's also important to call out the fact that we have a very rich, fully functional HTML5 client as well. So in scenarios in which maybe a platform doesn't have a native workspace app, or the device is otherwise locked down, or you don't wish to install the app for whatever reason, you can take advantage of the HTML5 version. And each one of the workspace app platforms has its own unique set of capabilities that it's able to deliver on that specific platform, tying in with native device functionality, native operating system APIs, to really deliver that best possible user experience, and also offload the processing wherever possible to help conserve bandwidth and server resources on the back end. Now, for the customer that we're going to be highlighting here today, they, like many customers, perhaps many of you listening, are a Microsoft Teams customer. And Microsoft Teams has realized substantial growth in the marketplace, and rightfully so. It's a very compelling solution for unified communications as well as collaboration. But in many cases, when you're working with this type of application in a distributed model, that means that you have chat logs and files and data potentially sensitive that's distributed across all these hundreds or thousands of endpoints, which right now could be anywhere. And we've worked closely with Microsoft, as we have over the years, to develop an optimization suite for Microsoft Teams. And for the most part, it's fully baked into the Citrix virtual app and desktop solution, such that customers can literally realize the best of both worlds. They will have the Microsoft Teams client located securely in the virtual server or virtual VDI instance in the data center on proven flexible IT infrastructure. And that's where it should reside. All the SIP signaling, the authentication, all the data and logs are going to remain there securely. But whenever the users go to engage in a voice or video call, that operation is offloaded and separated onto the endpoints, which are able to provide the best possible user experience while also maintain user density and overall scalability of the environment. So it's a fantastic solution to take advantage of, and you can take advantage of it in either the full Microsoft Teams app flavor or perhaps in a web browser. Either one will work. And we have, as you can see, full audio, video, and screen sharing optimization. So you literally do get the best of breed solution, everything secure in the data center, users are happy, best possible experience. I want to spend a moment just highlighting the importance of contextual access. And it's also a key aspect of this solution that you'll be hearing about. Contextual access is increasingly important, especially with the distributed workforce. Making sure that we're providing that right level of control, recording sessions if we deem it necessary to really understand user behaviors, determining what level of access is appropriate for things like clipboard, as well as mapping client drives and other related functionality in our virtual app and desktop sessions. With Citrix solutions, we can provide very granular contextual control through policies. And in addition, we can look to automate specific actions as needed, depending on how users are connecting and by uncovering nuggets of information from all that rich data that is delivered and made available in the infrastructure. Certifications. In many industries, some are highly regulated, and it's important to ensure that you are working with a partner that has a app and desktop solution that is fully certified and vetted by major bodies. Our long-term service release versions, which is the version that the customer here is using, are fully certified by major boards. And this is very important in regulated industries. Industries, not only government, but also finance, and as is the case with our customer here today, healthcare as well. Now, when you need to deploy images to users and quickly bring online hundreds or thousands of users, the only realistic way to do that is with a proven image management solution. At Citrix, we have two of those such solutions. One is machine creation services, which is the one that the customer is leveraging today. And the other is provisioning services, or PVS. MCS is our disk-based provisioning, while PVS is a network-based provisioning solution. And in the case of MCS, it's fully integrated within the virtual app and desktop solution. Right within the console, you very quickly and easily select your base image template or snapshot, and you can provision out hundreds or thousands of VDI instances, as well as dozens or hundreds or perhaps even thousands of server instances for users to connect and serve up all those resources. Full versioning control, being able to handle updates along the life cycle of the virtual machines, and as you see here, a wide variety of platforms supported as well. I've been fortunate. I've been at Citrix a number of years and talked with customers across all major geographies and verticals. And years ago, Citrix would release a large virtual app and desktop solution, previously known as XenApp and Desktop, or prior to that as Presentation Server, every 2 years or so. And what we found is that many customers maybe didn't know what version was best for them to standardize on, or if they had a feature enhancement, it would take some time until it made its way in the product. So as a direct result of customer feedback over the past few years, we've gone ahead and adopted this release strategy, consisting of a long-term service release, which comes out every 2 to 3 years, and these are ones you can standardize on for the long haul, as the name suggests. We provide ongoing fixes every few months in the form of cumulative updates. We have our current release train, which most quarters, usually 3 to 4 times a year, we're releasing a current release with all the latest features and updates included within them. Then we also have our cloud service, our virtual apps and desktop service in Citrix Cloud. And our customer here today, as I may have alluded to, is taking advantage of the long-term service release in their environment. But do keep in mind that there are other options, and these options don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive either. We have many customers that take advantage of combinations of these release strategies. And just to kind of visualize the release train here, Citrix Cloud is kept evergreen by Citrix, that management plane. And typically the newer features and functionalities first made available there before cascading into the current releases, and then eventually being made available into a long-term service release. Now, as we'll see, the healthcare customer today decided to take advantage of the long-term service release, and they did so for, among other reasons, these 3 reasons here. The fact that it has an extended life cycle, and the customer can standardize on it for up to 10 years of total support. They'll realize a baseline 5 years mainstream support with an optional 5 years extended support. It's also very predictable. The features have been proven at scale for some time, and there's no new features that are being introduced to the platform, but rather instead we are providing updates in the form of cumulative updates periodically. And then lastly, many customers have realized reduced IT costs because it's simplified ongoing management and maintenance. Again, so that proven platform, right? It's like that familiar friend that you can really continue to use for the long haul with that predictability. So to wrap things up before I hand it over to Ian, just kind of highlight some of the features of our virtual app product line, the virtual app 7 product line, be it standard, advanced, or premium, whatever flavor you decide to go with. You can realize industry-leading performance, scalability, user experience, and security across the board. And we also have our virtual apps and desktops product line. And the great thing here as well is that you can start off, if you'd like, with the virtual app solution and really leverage a hosted shared virtual app delivery platform. As your needs grow, you can seamlessly move to a virtual app and desktop solution, literally just with a license upgrade. And the infrastructure is going to be the same for you, and it'll grow with you as your needs grow and as your needs change. So hopefully that helps to set the stage around Citrix, our solutions, and virtual app and desktop delivery in the context. We'll go ahead and pass it over to Ian now and take a closer look at this specific offering with Flexxible and our healthcare customer.
Thanks very much, Alan, for that introduction and for walking us through the Citrix portfolio. Very nice. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and I'd like to just say thank you very much for the opportunity to present ourselves, Flexxible IT, to you all today, and to walk you through the healthcare solution at the NHS. So, look, no doubt over the past few months, we've all had to deal with a separate set of unique challenges, and the public health organisation, the National Health Service, is no different in that capacity. Today, I'd like to review one of the acute NHS trusts that had to rapidly mobilise its workforce in just a few weeks as part of the COVID-19 crisis management strategy, so that they could ensure they were maintaining the delivery of the services, but also protecting the health of their staff, both clinical and admin. So just for the benefit of everyone, if we just go back a few months, as the virus travelled across the world, governments were compelled to introduce a range of never-before-seen restrictions and controls on people's daily lives. The knock-on effect of this on organisation was unprecedented in modern times. And the NHS became the front line of the UK government's offensive strategy to contain and handle the impact of the virus. In contrast to the commercial world, which was sent home to work, the NHS, as the primary COVID-19 healthcare provider, had not only to continue to deliver services, but had to gear up for increased service loads. However, they also had to put in measures in place to protect the staff so that they could continue to deliver the predicted increase in patient caseload. They needed to provide a safe remote working facility, cater for isolation of specific hospital areas, and changing public policy with what-if scenarios, all while ensuring a dynamic environment and service operating at 100+ levels. So just for the benefit of those on the call who might not be aware of a typical NHS acute hospital, just to understand the size and scope here, I thought I'd give you a snapshot. So the trust has got about 800 beds, and it delivers, has about 4,500 staff, and it provides general acute healthcare services, but is also a specialist cancer centre for almost 900,000 people. In addition, they're responsible for delivering a broad range of community healthcare, such as midwifery and general outpatient surgeries. So what were the project objectives and aims? The trust had a very small remote working facility already, and that was used by a small group of users, and which they wanted to rapidly upscale by a factor of 10. The task was complicated, a bit more than usual, because it was taken as a decision that no work could be done on site by any external organisations, and that the whole project had to be done remotely. They also wanted the solution to be supported by their own IT department, because in the early days of the pandemic, the trust said there was too many unknowns and that they wanted to be able to self-support it in the event of complete lockdown with no one being on site. And also, the other thing, of course, was that notwithstanding the crisis, performance and user satisfaction was paramount, because they wanted to make sure that the users perceived this as a step forward and that patient delivery was not going to be negatively impacted. Also, the trust was collaborating with another trust, and so a modular design was important to the overall solution, so that as and when they wanted to scale out to handle increased demand, this was easily achieved. Looking at the project overview, there's about 3,500 users that they wanted to immediately deliver remote working to, and they wanted to encompass delivering about 55 clinical and admin apps across their 2 data centers, which had low latency and very good bandwidth, so they were able to deliver a high availability solution. It was a typical, enterprise type environment with standard networks and storage and infrastructure that we needed to work with. They had a broad array of PCs and workstations with a few thin clients. The other thing, of course, is that we need to be absolutely aware of is that delivering healthcare is a team game, and it takes many people working in unison to ensure patient care is delivered at the point of need. So a core part of the hospital's response was to also bring in new collaboration tools, which Alan touched on previously, in parallel with the rapid upscaling of the remote working at the trust. And so the remote working would deliver the benefits, but they could not do that at the expense of patient care. So although they were bringing in remote working, they still needed everyone to be communicating and collaborating together. And so they were also planning on expanding their network capacity at the same time. So just stepping back, if we can, for one moment from the project, I'd just like to highlight another perspective, and that was the Trust's CIO's perspective was that he was facing a broad range of crisis management, and he had things like cyber security challenges, service evolution. He was trying to finance all this strategy and also trying to increase capacity at the same time. But all this was overlaid with a bunch of tactical activities that he was trying to achieve so that the organization could go forward. This in itself created a large amount of conflicting priorities and investment decisions across the organization, which all boils down to, what we're all faced as a challenge is how do we spend the best time and resources to get the best payback. But of course, in crisis management, this all comes into extreme focus. And that's what's important here is that you really need accurate data and information so that you can choose optimum responses with the right priorities and resources. And many organizations accelerated their cloud adoption of collaboration tools, etc., during this period. And it's been reported, obviously, that in the last pandemic, during the pandemic, that years of digital transformation have been squeezed down into just a few months. So turning our attention back to the project just for a moment. So here is what is a typical timeline for a desktop transformation project. And typically these take months, if not years, to step through each part, to assess, build the case, do high-level, low-level designs, and then finally configure and deploy and get all the apps onboarded so that you can start to see the value of the investment. In this particular instance, we were challenged by the trust due to the COVID-19 crisis management strategy that they wanted to rapidly collapse this timeline from months into weeks. And in fact, we were given a 6-week target to assess and deploy the whole solution. Notwithstanding, they had a ready-made business case for COVID-19. There was still assessments, configurations, and deployments that had to be completed in that 6-week period. So what we, over many years and successful deployments, have developed a flexible IT methodology which overlays on top of a typical project timeline. So this methodology is a tried and tested with hundreds of deployments over many years of successful projects. It's a step-by-step approach which breaks down each part of the project and maps across the project timeline, ensuring project risk is mitigated, and we prioritize the task and actions and they get completed. What this methodology delivers is a robust and reliable approach to any desktop transformation project. We couple that with our 3 core solutions, which we've developed in parallel with our methodology. So the unison of the methodology and the core solution delivers you an end-to-end solution to ensure that we can deliver against your project objectives. Albeit you don't need to adopt all 3 solutions. You can pick any one of the 3 solutions depending on what your project is at, what stage. You can also just use the apps to digital to do an assessment and discovery of your applications, and then move later on into other areas. Or it may be that you want to just look at a refresh of your hardware and you're looking for a high-performance platform to link in with your existing infrastructure, so you can use our pre-built hyper-converged appliances. But going back then to our project timeline, and here what you can see is that I've overlaid the applications and our solutions over that timeline. So you can see that the apps to digital starts out from the assessment point, moving all the way through, and then we pick up with the design and deployment of our suite and hyper-converged appliances. So just looking at that in a little more detail, here we have the apps to digital solution, which is used as a assess and discovery tool, ready to help you build up the business case, which then feeds into a high-level design. So we're picking up all of the resources required so that we can build out our appliances. I'll go into the separate solutions in a little more detail later on. From there, once we've done the high and low level designs, we can then use our quick configuration solution to automate and orchestrate the configuration and deployment. This is completely customizable depending on your particular requirements. And then finally, we go from there. As you start to onboard users and applications, we can then provide our suite solution, which will help you manage. So what I'd like to do is just look in a bit more detail in those 3 core solutions. So the apps to digital provides a comprehensive method to discover and assess your applications and the resources they consume. You can know exactly what applications are critical to your project success and which are your most demanding users. You can understand exactly what resources you need to provide the users with the best desktop experience. And also you can gain insight into user productivity and how they use and consume applications. In addition to that, we also have the ability to transform the applications and let you move to an evergreen lifecycle management so that you can package the applications ready to deploy in any environment, be that physical or cloud. Our appliances are pre-built and modular, and we have a range in there so that we can pick and choose the right appliance for the task. In the particular instance of the hospital, we chose our Platinum appliances for the server and workloads, and we chose our controller appliance to manage the Citrix databases, license managers, etc. This gives you a highly secure environment that you can easily scale and build out. And it also means that everything is Citrix ready, so you can move to a Citrix cloud proposition as and when you want to. Looking at the hospital in particular, just as an example, so the design we came up with was using those, as I said, using those appliances. It was 2 data centers and a HA in a high availability environment. And here we have the controllers, which are managing all of the Citrix roles. And then we have our appliances, which are our P200 Platinums, which support the workloads with an N+1 design. And these are easily scalable in units of one. And you can also have appliances that have got GPUs and additional storage. And also unique to the flexible solution is the fact that our hyperconverged appliances are able to not only use the local storage, but they can also use existing storage arrays that you may have that you want to use because of saving costs or capacity. Then we move on to the quick config automation and orchestration tools, which they speed up the manual processes required to successfully deploy Citrix. With pre-built best practice tools, you can build a faster and more secure in a standard way, which improves your ability to support and maintain. It's easily customized to accommodate any specific requirements you may have. And it also, not just from day one, but it continues to provide management operations to manage your infrastructure. So, you know, completing updates, changes as you grow the platform. Our quick config environment can also orchestrate and handle that. And it's also ready to help you move to any cloud or any other sort of DR environment. And then finally, as you move into building out and onboarding applications and users, we have the single pane of glass management, or the flexible suite solution, which is a complete solution for managing, supporting, monitoring, and reporting your entire environment. It's, as I said, it's a single pane of glass management layer, and it gives you a complete picture. It also helps in things like support. So support can quickly identify the root cause of a user issue and apply the correct fix. They can also understand how the platform's performing, and they can also understand what the impact of change can be, and whether there's any bottlenecks and what the future trends look like. We also have complete delegated admin and change control so that you get better management, increased productivity from your IT team, and also better utilization of your resources. What's also fundamental to this platform is that it allows you to build and understand the trends on the platform so that you can move to a proactive support and management platform as opposed to being reactive. So how does this look in terms of benefits to the healthcare client? So from our unique approach of a combination of our methodology and our 3 core solutions, the whole point is that we enable people to make faster changes using our proven methodology, and those changes enable organizations to know exactly what's going on with their environment. We help with you in terms of resolving issues, so our customers experience a 4 times factor in finding root cause and solving user issues, and having an easier, fast way of scaling out the platform. And then finally, from a high-performance platform, users and applications run up to 3 times faster, according to the surveys and customer surveys that we've done over the years with our customers. So just lastly, and I'd just like to highlight, as this is a Citrix ready, and we partnered with Citrix on this. So we are a Citrix ready global partner. We're one of a handful of these, and we've successfully delivered Citrix projects over many years. We try and help organizations deliver successful projects, and where they see the benefit of us is in shortening the time to value of their projects, increasing the benefits, and ensuring that the user experience is not compromised. We work also with a broad range of partners and technologies, and we work from our global headquarters in Spain, and we've got offices around the world to support our customers. And obviously you can see there that we work across many sectors, not just in fact the healthcare. And that what we find with our customers is that because of the increased benefits they get from our solutions and our methodology, they increase their adoption of Citrix by over 200%. And with strategic alliances with a lot of the main vendors, we have a complete solution to deliver all the benefits for our clients and our partners. So just in terms of summarizing in the last few minutes, and the project outcomes for the hospital. The trust realised the following benefits from using the combination of our methodology and our solutions. So rapid deployment, using the combination of Flexxible IT's unique sets of tools and methodology, the trust was able to install, configure and deploy the solution within that 6-week time limit. They gained improved management. So now the trust can assess, manage and monitor all of the critical applications the clinicians are using and depend on, and they can prioritise the resources to support that patient care. And then finally, they have an optimised user experience. So using our modular pre-built commodity-based appliances, the trust has a scale-out high-performance platform which can support internally their users and grow as demands dictate with their collaboration with the other trust. And in time, when they're ready, they can move to a hybrid or cloud environment. So I'd like to, at that point, thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you found the case study useful.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks, Ian and Alan, for walking us through these slides. So now we will head towards the Q&A session. We have a few questions with us, so let me get it started. So, Alan, this might be for you. One of our attendees have asked, do you plan to support the support of Mac OS virtualization in the roadmap?
So the question around Mac virtualization, as far as I understand, I believe that's not allowed per Apple EULA and licensing. I mean, we fully embrace Apple products and platforms from a client perspective across all their devices, but in terms of actually virtualizing and connecting to it, yeah, I don't believe that that Apple would allow us to do so. But nonetheless, depending on application requirements and other needs, there could maybe be some alternatives that we can look at, like Linux or other things.
Okay. Thanks, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure
the next one would be for Ian. Can Flexxible IT manage and deploy hybrid Citrix environments?
Yes, thanks for that. Yeah, the Flexxible solution, it supports a wide range of deployment types, and hybrid is one of those. So whether that would be a hybrid cloud deployment or a hybrid desktop or some sort of hybrid infrastructure, yes, that's all possible, and the solution can accommodate many different types of customer requirements. So it's quite adaptable.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And the next one follows. I saw that Apps to Digital is used at the start of a typical project, but can it be used once the project is completed as well?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, yeah, today we walked through a project where, you know, we went through our methodology and we started at the beginning and went through the assessment, discovery piece, did the design, and then did the deployment. But that's not always the case. Our solutions can be laid over both an existing Citrix deployment, or you can pick and choose pieces of our solution. So there are occasions when people will pick up the Apps to Digital because they're going through a large, say, Windows 7 to Windows 10 desktop migration, and they need to assess the applications and transform those applications from a Windows 7 to a Windows 10 environment. So that's possible, and that does occur. Alternatively, we have had occasions when organizations are moving from one type of Citrix deployment to a new type of cloud-based Citrix deployment, and they overlay the suite product to give them some management of that process. So all of the solutions can be introduced and overlaid on existing solutions, and you can pick and choose which one of the 3 core solutions you want to use at any one time.
Okay, thank you, man. The next one is, how easy is it to adopt Apps to Digital on Citrix Cloud environment?
Well, the Apps to Digital is a cloud service, based on Azure. So deployment's very straightforward. It can all be done in just a few hours.
Okay, yeah, and I'm sure like with the configuration and getting used to due to the application is, I don't think it will take more time as well. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, we have both an agent and an agentless environment to pick up on a Citrix deployment.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we have a few more questions. But, considering the time, we'll take up the one last question, and then we'll wrap this up. So the last one is: does this solution augment an existing Citrix 7.15 environment, or does it replace it?
Sorry, could you just repeat the question?
Yes. Does this solution augment an existing Citrix 7.15 environment, or does it replace it?
Yeah, I think what correct me if you're asking, does it support also 7.19 as well as 7.15?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like if the existing ones are supporting 7.15, does it still support 7.15 and the other versions as well?
Yes, it does. It goes all the way from 6.5 all the way through actually to every version of Citrix. Sorry about I couldn't quite hear that question. So yeah, we support all versions of the Citrix environment, old and new, and we're used on a few occasions to help people make that transition. You can also manage them in parallel. So the suite management platform will actually manage multiple Citrix deployments, and it's a multi-tenanted platform as well. So we can help organizations with that transition.
Yeah, and just kind of add to that, if you would like to aggregate multiple environments, you can do that with the solution. If you are looking to maybe standardize on a version, you could perhaps migrate from, say, 7.15 to a newer LTSR or other versions. So there's a great degree of flexibility in terms of the versions that are supported and the overall lifecycle strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. And adding on top of that, as and when Flexxible IT verifies the product with the latest Citrix products, we do update that on Citrix Ready Marketplace and the product page as well. So you could check the latest verified Citrix compatibility products there as well. Okay, great. So that's it. Thanks, Ellen and Ian, again for taking your time. If you have any final words for our audience, please go ahead for it, and then we'll conclude this webinar.
Well, from my side, go ahead, Ian. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Alan. You spoke first.
Okay. Again, just want to thank everyone for joining us. We hope you found the content useful. And again, as next steps, we highly encourage you to head on over to the Citrix Ready site and learn more about not only Citrix, but the great joint solutions that we have with Flexxible. Very powerful platform. Go ahead, Ian.
I was going to say, I echo that. And as we share the presentation, you'll see my contact details are on the first slide. So if people want to reach out and ask me direct questions or follow up with anything, I'm more than happy to take that on.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining the Citrix Ready technical webinar here. With this, we'll conclude this webinar. Have a wonderful day ahead. Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.